Maybe if in the context of if pressure becomes direction, then it makes sense. Or if pressure comes with direction.
I work well under pressure.
Are you a student?
I work well under pressure. I'll start from your end. You're free to say no, you're free to say it.
No, I work well with trust. Like every single time someone has put me under undue pressure, the question in my head is, why did you even give me the work? Yeah, like, because I tend to try to keep my word. And the thing that I demand in return is, I think that I'm trustworthy. That's what I think. People beauty belongs in the eyes of the beholder. So they may be seeing a guy who's not trustworthy. But I sort of tend to demand that, man, if you've trusted me, trust me. This business of you now want to edit, it chimps up a bit. Like it rubs me wrongly. I hope I have a poker face for when those times happen. But yeah.
Charles.
Interesting. I think while Oje was speaking, my mind traveled to working well under pressure. Not from the client.
Exactly.
Let's be clear. Not from the client.
Yes.
It is my pressure.
This is important.
Yes, because guess what? One time I had a flyer project I was working on for some client, and when we met, we thrashed through the figures X, Y, Z, and got done with that. And then when the client came, they showed up like today. They these man, God have mercy. These kind of clients that think that design should be working like a magic wand and you're done. Anyway, so they come today and they were telling me, will you be done by tomorrow? I laughed. In my heart, of course, I laughed. Anyway, then speak about how much money they were willing to pay. It was ridiculous. So I pulled in the meeting I had with this client, I pulled them from a place of what they were originally offering to be able to offer times 10 of that same amount. And for what they wanted the next day, I got them to sit tight and wait for nearly 3 weeks. And guess what? They sat down and waited. But I think for me, it was like the greatest flattery in a sense. But as the project was progressing, this guy noticed I was not exactly the type to be pushed around in terms of, we want this, now that, because the demarcations were clear. So I was very flattered one day when he commented and said, man, your work was too good, and me and the team were even wondering whether you're really the one that did it.
Wow.
I was like, okay. Yeah, because you delayed to get back to us when we want things to be worked on. But anyway, so long story short, deadlines, what was the statement?
The statement is I work well under pressure.
Yeah, I work well under. Me, I work really well under pressure when I am the one controlling the narrative. Other than that,
There's actually a scenario that you provoked to come back to my mind. Who is creating the pressure? And I guess where their mind is at is very important. Because I know I've been in many places where someone is asking you to get something done on the spot, and it just works. I have a friend who I do quite a bit of work with her.
Mm.
Now her problem is that she's very trusting. Okay, it's a problem because when you're creating stuff for people, usually they are the client. They know what they want. You're the tool, for lack of a better way to say it. You're the tool to what they want. So you need them to tell you A, B, C, D, and they're dilly-dallying going around, and you keep asking the question. So now, with her, sometimes I take direct route, and the direct route is a very adamant route. I insist that pressure has to exist, and I realize I think I'm the one who puts her under pressure in that moment. No, because until you put your foot down and say this is this, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't. You need to define it. So maybe if in the context of if pressure becomes direction, then it makes sense. Or if pressure comes with direction, because if someone understands what you're doing, if your client, because I get the feeling the client is not very understanding of what the design process looks like.
Most likely.
Which is why they can come up with the comments they come up with, because they don't realize that for them the thing that they ask, and they might come from a field where they are an expert, so when they ask them a question they give an answer. Design doesn't tend to be like that. It tends to be the place where they ask you, you solve, then you give an answer. So if they put pressure on you in the moment, it might make you a bad person, like a bad person in terms of delivery.
Yeah.
It might paint you a bad designer. Or so I think context matters
Yeah.
to pressure.
Okay.